raises a question. What's more influential, traditional word of mouth or social media word of mouth? Let me ask you a question. How many of you read reviews on TripAdvisor or Yelp or Amazon? Right, many of us do. Thank you for your candor, Stephanie. So we do, right? This is something that we do. Can anybody think of a case where you are more likely to use social media word of mouth before a purchase versus traditional word of mouth? So traditional means asking your friends or colleagues or family members. Amazon purchases, yeah, you're looking at books, movies, things like that. You're not going to call up a family member and say, hey, can you give me advice about this book? You know that there are 500 reviews for that book. Yeah, so there are a lot of things where it's going to be more convenient, and the sheer volume of reviews makes you comfortable with social media. But of course, there are certain categories that are more personal where you really are going to want a friend or a family member recommendation. So there's been a lot of research about social media versus traditional word of mouth. Does anybody want to guess? And I'm going to give you the answer in just a minute. Does anybody want to guess what the outcome is? If we look at research on research, what is more likely to affect purchase behavior? Traditional or social media word of mouth? Cheryl says social media. Pat, do you mean traditional? Stephanie says, it depends. Well, actually, this is a little bit, so this is really worth thinking about, right? If I am looking to understand how people talk about my brand or my product category online, I really at some point have to think, is that going to be useful for me, or am I a brand or product category for which traditional word of mouth is likely to be more influential? At some point, you're going to have to think about that for the brands and categories you're doing research for. However, having done a lot of research on this topic, I can tell you that the jury is still out. There have been some very significant studies that have shown that traditional word of mouth is more likely to influence purchase behavior, and there have been other studies that actually show that social media is more likely to influence purchase behavior. So it's still in debate. There's no clear winner. Stephanie has quoted something I haven't heard for a while. So Stephanie and I obviously have a lot in common in the IT space. Yeah, nobody ever got fired for going with IBM. Now that was something we said for many, many years, right? Because IBM at the time, they were the PC company, they were the high-end computer company, they basically owned everything in the IT space at one point. And you would say nobody ever got fired for going with IBM. And, it's really an interesting quote, because there are cases where if I'm in the B2B space especially, I want to know what other people are doing. It's sort of a CYA move, if you will, to know what other people do and think. But it is interesting to me that there is still something evolving here. Why is there some skepticism about social media as an influencer? What is something that comes up in social media? When you're looking at product reviews on Yelp or Amazon, do you ever have any, thank you, fake reviews, authenticity, thank you, excellent. Yes, there is an issue of authenticity here. And we do know factually that not all product reviews are authentic. They could be from the company itself, they could be from competitors, they can be from somebody with a bone to pick with the brand, former employees, you just never know. So not everything on social media is authentic. However, you still have sheer volume on the side of social media. By the way, the University of Chicago is doing some very interesting research right now in order to ascertain the authenticity of online product reviews. So they're doing some linguistic analysis so that they'll be able to basically grade online reviews on their probability of authenticity. Wow, that is going to be cool.